Okay, so with all of these distributions, I talked about its shape, but we have some words that describe different classifications of shapes. All right, so when you talk about the shapes, again, a shape is for the distribution, and a distribution is how often things occur. Right? The distribution of, and this is a quantitative variable. We don't talk about the shape of categorical or qualitative variables. All right, a symmetric distribution, this means that the left and right side of my graph are mirrors. They're mirror images. Now, often, these symmetric distributions are what's called bell-shaped. And they're called a bell shape because they kind of look like a bell, like this. You can think, you know, that's the bell shape. So basically, in the middle, things are more frequent in the middle than they are on the edges of the range of values. All right. So they had some, I got these out of the textbook. All right. So they say this guy is symmetric. Now you can see it's that if I take kind of like an imaginary line here, that the left and the right side, they're not exactly the same. All right. But they're approximately the same. So when I say mirror image, I mean approximately. All right. So those look about the same on either side, and it has this shape where it's high up at the top, and then the tails, these are what to the left and the right of like whatever the biggest one. The biggest one is called the mode. All right. We got to the left of the mode, this is the left tail, and to the right of the mode, this is the right tail. And those, the left tail and the right tail are mirror image of each other. All right. Skewed left, with the skewed left, the left tail is longer than the right. All right. So here, this bar right here, this class right here, you know, between, what is that, 110 and 120 is what's called the mode. All right, so the mode of this, whatever the distribution this is this guy. And the left tail is everything to the left. So this left tail is all the way out here. So this is my left tail. And between here and the max, that's the right tail. And this left tail is a lot longer than that right tail. So that means it's left skewed or skewed left. And when it's skewed right, like this one, here my mode is between 20 and 25. All right, because that's the tall bar here. And then now my right tail is longer. So this is skewed right, or right skewed. All right, so with the uniform distribution, which is this first one, basically there is no mode. And when we think about what a mode is, we look at the overall shape of the graph. So this, you can think about, okay, this kind of goes up, and then I've got this long right tail. This one, I've got this long left tail, and then it kind of comes straight down. All right, this one, when I draw the curve, all right. If I drew a curve across this, it looks pretty flat, all right? So even though, okay, there's a few more in here than this is not a mode. Basically, this looks about, I mean, data is gonna vary a little bit, just like we talked about. If we flip coins over and over, I'm not gonna get exactly 50% heads and exactly 50% tails, all right? So here, this is saying between 0 and 2 looks about just as likely as 18 to 20. So this is flat, so there's no mode. This is called a uniform distribution. This is uniform between 0 and 20. All right, so we don't talk about its tail. There's no tail because there's no mode. All right, so let's look at the graphs that we've done so far. All right, here was our televisions in the household. All right, so here, my mode, all right, I have two bars that are the same. This is not two modes. There's still just one mode. So my mode here is between 1 and 3 televisions. And my left tail, I've got one class on my left. And I got 3 classes on my right. 3 bins or classes, all right, 3 bars. So my right tail is longer. So this guy is right skewed. Now this was my dot plot. So this is a histogram. And this is a dot plot of the same data. And you can see that I can see the same thing from a dot plot than I can from a histogram. I can see, okay, I've got modes of 1 and 2 TVs, and I got my left tail has 1 person on my left, and then I have these 3 different classes on my right. So I can still see from my dot plot that this is right skewed. Right. My other data was a divorce rate, and I did a histogram of that, but I'm just going to show you. Here was my stem and leaf plot. Now for this, I can also talk about its shape. And the way I think about its shape, because we got left and right, well here all my stuff is top and bottom, all right? But if I turn this on its left side, so if I rotate that left, it looks like this, all right? Now it looks like a number line. So I have smaller values on my left and larger values on my right, just like on the x-axis, all right? So now I can see, all right, this shape here, all right? And notice I didn't go up and down here. The difference between this bar and this bar, it's not really a bar, these numbers, this list and this list, there's only one person or one state, all right? So like when you're talking about, since data varies, we don't think about a mode being like, okay, oh, this happened one time, just like up in my uniform distribution. I didn't say, oh, I've got a mode here and a mode here and a mode here and a mode here. I did not say that. I said there's no modes. Here, I only have one mode. All right. In general, the graph goes up and down. And so my mode is between 3.5 and 4. That's supposed to say mode. All right, because this is from 3.5, actually did 3.9, but you get the idea. All right. Also, again, well, this time, all right, I've got 3 bars on the left and 3 bars on the right. So I've got, so here, no, I've got 4. So there's 4 on this side and 3 on this side. So I don't know if I would call this right skewed, maybe. So, you know, if it is, it's extremely slightly. So I'm only got 1 extra bar on one side than I do the other. So sometimes when I only have 1 bar more, I kind of think of it as being symmetric. So this is slightly skewed right or symmetric. In fact, this last point, there's only 1 point there. So, you know, it's kind of questionable. So picking the shape, there's some what's the word I'm looking for? There's some intuition involved, and it's debatable sometimes.